So let's start adding the test cases for the sign in page test. So this class has to be child of our base test, right? So we need to extend it from the base test. So before we start executing the test cases from the sign in page, we first have to navigate to the sign in page from the home page of the Amazon. So we will come here and we will click on sign in. So this action we need to add in the @before method annotation. So similar to the registration page, we will use the home page object dot we need to open the sign in page. Okay, so this method is not present in the sign in page as of now. Just click on this. So it will create a method in the home page. So now before every test we will open the sign in page. So once we are on the sign in page, we can start our testing. So we'll start with the basic scenarios to test the title of the page, then logo, then we can check the back and forth scenarios also. For example, if I click on the backward, if I navigate backward, then I can validate whether this home page is open or not. Then from this page, if I click on the forward, then I can see that sign in page is open or not. If I refresh the sign in page, whether user navigates to the sign in page or not. So after pressing the refresh, it should remain on the sign in page, right? Then we can check the sign in label. All these labels we can check the continue button clickable or not. We can check all these links. So for the sign in, we can check with the different email ID combination. So first we can check with the email ID which is not registered on the Amazon. So you can give any input over here and which is not registered on the Amazon. So if we click on continue, we can validate this kind of error is showing or not. And if we add some invalid email ID, let's say only add like this, and if we click on continue, this email ID format is incorrect, right? So we can validate this error as well. So another test we can create for the invalid credentials. Let's say email ID is registered one and you are entering the wrong password. Another test case you can create for the valid credentials also. So it's up to you. You can create multiple test cases for this sign in page. So first thing we are going to verify on the sign in page is the logo. So we have this verify logo method available in our base page class. So we just need to call this method and display this error if it is not available. Then we will check the page title with the get title of the page method. So this will be our reference title, and in case of error it will display this in the console. Then we will have one test for back and forth scenarios as we discuss. So first thing is we will navigate back and verify the previous page title. Then from that page we will navigate forward and then verify the sign in page. Okay, so if we press the backward from the sign in page, it will go to the home page, right? And from the home page, if we click on forward, then again user will go to the sign in page. And next one is we will refresh the page and verify if user navigate to the same page or not. Okay, so this is the test I have created. So base page dot navigate dot back. So this method we need to add in the base page. Okay, so all these methods, navigate back, navigate forward, or refresh page, doesn't depend upon any specific web page. So we should be adding those in our base page class. So I will mouse over and click on this. So it will create the navigate back. We will implement this later. Then we need this navigate forward method. And last one is refresh. Okay, so later we will add the logic inside these methods. So next test is for sign in with the unregistered email ID. Okay, so for that purpose you just need to enter the invalid email ID on the input field. So for entering the email ID in the input field, we will require enter email ID method in the sign in page. So this is our sign in page object reference. So mouse around this and this should create a method inside the sign in page class. So we will enter the invalid email ID and then we will click on the continue button. So sign in page dot click on continue button. So once it is done, we just need to assert that error. So this is how we can assert the error for the unregistered email ID. So in the sign in page, we will create this method get unregistered email ID error. So this method will return the text for that error in the string format, so that we will compare with the expected one. Similarly, we can check the test for sign in with the invalid email ID. So again we will enter the email ID and we will click on continue button. And in the same way we can assert the error. So we can create method with this name, get invalid email ID error. So this method will be in the sign in page. So this will be our expected error message. So next test we can add for the sign in with the valid credentials. Okay, so for that purpose we will create this method in the sign in, and to this method we will pass our valid email ID and valid password, and then we will check whether user is able to sign in or not. So we can add one test case for verifying all the fields on this sign in page. So on any page there can be multiple fields available. So not only fields, there can be multiple buttons, links available, right? So we can create one test case to verify presence of that elements on that particular page. So this will be my test case name, fields on the page test. So this method we will use to verify the input fields or different field labels, links or buttons on the sign in page. So for checking that, we will create this method in the sign in page, verify presence of the element on the page. So how we can implement this? One simple logic is to store all the expected fields in the Excel and compare actual fields at the runtime. Okay, so at the runtime we will assert all the expected list with the actual list, and if any field is not present, then that name of the field will show in the console, and we will add those in the report as well. So we will see this while implementing our page classes. So same test case I can add for all my application pages. So same I will add in the registration page test as well. So instead of sign in, this time I will check all the fields available on the registration page. So now let's start implementing our page classes. So those we have created in the src main java, under which we have com.amazon.pages package. Under that we have separate java class for every page. So let's implement home page first. So in the home page we have added these two methods. One is to open the registration page from the home page, and another one is to open the sign in page. So all the web elements and all the actions in the form of methods we will store in same class. So on this home page of the Amazon, we need to create all the web elements for all the elements available on this page. So for every element we will create a web element in the home page class. So for now we are just checking the registration page and sign in page, right? So for that purpose I will require this element from the home page, then I will require this sign in element, and to go to the registration page I will have to create web element for the start here as well. So for creating or storing the web elements we will use the page factory concept. We need to use this FindBy annotation. FindBy, in the bracket you can provide what locator strategy we are going to use. So if you are using the XPath, just write XPath equal to give the value of the XPath. Under that you can just provide the name of your web element. So public web element, and this is for my, let's say this hello sign in accounts and list. Okay, so for this we will create our first web element. So this is my web element name. So import this from the Selenium package, and FindBy you need to import from the selenium.support. So let's try to find the locator for this element. So you just need to inspect it. So here we have this ID. So instead of XPath we can use this ID itself. So just add that ID value here, and instead of XPath we are going to use the ID. So okay, so this is how we can use FindBy annotation. So similarly I have created the web element for our sign in button and new customer start here web element. So I have used XPath for locating these two elements. So before we use these web elements from the page class, we need to initialize these web elements using the constructor of this class. So let's create the constructor, and inside the constructor we need to initialize these web elements. So we can use this method page factory dot init elements. So here we need to provide the driver reference that we will send from our base test to the constructor, and here we need to use this keyword. Okay, so here we will get the WebDriver reference whatever we got in the base test. So WebDriver driver, so this reference we will send from the base test. So just open the base test. So while creating the object for the home page or any other classes, we need to send the driver reference from here. Okay, and home page is the child class for this base page. So we need to call the constructor of this base page class from this constructor of the child class. So just use the super keyword over here, and inside the bracket again send the driver. So mouse over on this, we need to create the constructor in our base page class as well. Instead of driver 2, what we can do is we can directly use this dot driver whatever we have created in our base page class, right? This one is equals to whatever driver we will get from the constructor from the child class. So we added constructor in the parent base page class, then we added the constructor in the child class as well. So we added it in the home page, right? And we have used this page factory dot init elements method to initialize our web elements with the driver. So in the base test, while creating the object for this base page class, we need to send the driver from here as well. So for every page class in our framework, we will have to add this constructor. So let me copy it. I will add it in the sign in page, and same we can add for our registration page class as well. So we are creating object for these page classes in our base test. So while creating the object, we need to send this driver reference. So let's resolve the error from the business page as well. So here we may require to add the constructor, yes, and pass driver from the base test. So in the home page, we have created these 3 web elements that we require to perform this open registration action and sign in page action, right? So we can interact with these elements now. So before we directly interact with these elements, we need to use a proper synchronization mechanism using the explicit wait in the Selenium. Otherwise your test can fail, right? So when any page is loaded, it takes some time depending upon your network speed or application speed. So some elements might take some time to load. So if you directly try to interact with this element without any wait, it will fail, right? So before interacting with any web element on any page, we will wait for visibility of that element or wait for that element to be clickable or invisibility of that element using the different conditions available in the explicit wait. So that class we will add in our utils package. So before we create that class, let me add the web element for all our page classes first. Okay, and later we will add our custom wait. And after that we will add our methods for our actions on the page. Okay, so that will be easy. So let's go and add the web element for our registration page now. So for the web element for this logo available on any page in the Amazon application, we will create that web element in the base class. Okay, base page class. So we will create web element for all these web elements. Create account, username, mobile number field, password field, then this button, right? So let me create web element for these fields using the FindBy annotation. So by using the ID and XPath, I have created these web elements for your name field, mobile number, password field, create business account, then password information message. Then I have created for the verify mobile number button as well, which is this one. We are going to check this sign in as well, whether sign in page are open or not. So I have created web element for this as well. So I think these web elements will be sufficient for our demo. So if required, we will create more web elements as per our requirement. Okay, so in the same way, we will add web elements on the sign in page. So if you go to the sign in page, you can go from here as well. So on the sign in page, we will create web element for this input email field, continue button, then create your Amazon account. So if you use a valid email ID to sign in, then it will ask you to enter the password. So we can create web element for this password field, then forgot password as well, and sign in button. So I have created these web elements on the sign in page by using ID, class name, or XPath. So if you are a beginner and if you don't know, or if you want to learn how to create our own XPath, then you can go and watch my XPath playlist in the channel. So whenever you are locating any web element, make sure you are locating it uniquely. Then only your test case will be reliable. And for the business page, we will go from our registration page to the business page. So as per our test case, we will click on this button from the registration page, and we need to verify whether user go to this Amazon business page or not. So we can create a web element for this logo. We can verify with the title as well. So let me create web element for this Amazon business logo. So this is different for this particular page only. So as this logo is specific to this Amazon business page, we will create this web element in the Amazon business page class, not in our base page class. So we can create it. We can use this attribute. Okay, so this is the XPath for this Amazon business logo. So this I will add here. So if required, we can create more web elements on this business page as per our requirement later. So as we are using the page factory, we need to initialize this web element first. So let me copy that. So as per our flow, we will first go to the home page, and from home page we will open the registration page and then sign in page, and then we will perform our verification. So before we perform any action using these methods by interacting with these elements, let us first create our CustomWait class. So there we can use different condition from the explicit wait. So now let's see how we can implement that CustomWait class in our framework. So that we will create under the com.amazon.utils package. So this will be my class name, CustomWait. So from this class, anyhow we are going to interact with the driver. So we will require the driver reference, right? So I will create web driver here. So this we can keep as private, as we are only going to use in this class only. And as we are going to use the web driver wait, we need to create the reference for that as well. So I'll make it private, web driver wait. So here we will create a constructor for this class, and this constructor we will call while creating the object for this CustomWait class. So object for this CustomWait class we will create in our base page, right? So that base page is a parent, and if we create object in the base page, that will be applicable for all our application pages. Okay, so you don't need to create the object for this class again and again in separate pages. So better to create the object for this class in the base page. So from the base page constructor we will create the object for this class. So what things we will require for the web driver wait? We will require one driver reference, and another thing for the web driver wait is required the timeout, okay, in the form of duration of seconds. So that also we will send from the constructor of the base page class. So here we just need to create the reference for duration. So import this from the Java package, java.time. So here first we need to link our driver here. So whatever driver we have in this class should be equal to driver sent from the base page. So I will go to the base page class now. Go to the constructor of the base page class. So first let's create the reference for that object outside of the constructor. So I will give modified as protected, as we are going to use in the class and sub packages, sub classes. So protected CustomWait, and this is my variable, reference variable. Import this from com.amazon.utils. So here use this keyword, this dot wait is equals to new CustomWait. So we need to send the driver and duration of seconds, right? So I will write duration dot of seconds. Okay, so from here we need to send the time. So as of now I can send 60 seconds. Okay, so before interacting with any web element on any page, first wait for at most 60 seconds. If web element is available before the 60 seconds, then perform the next step in our test cases. If web element is not available under the 60 seconds, then it will give you the timeout error or timeout exception. So this value we have hard coded for now. This value we will read from our config.properties file later. So from here it will call the constructor of the CustomWait. Here we will get the driver, we will get the duration. So in the constructor of this CustomWait class, we will create the object for the web.wait class. So using the wait reference, we will be able to use the different expected conditions. So here we can write this dot wait is equal to object of web.wait class. Okay, so we will pass the driver and whatever value we will get here from the base page class. So instead of duration, I will just write timeout here. Okay, this is our timeout. This is my variable name. So this value we will pass here. So for now we have set it to 60. So I will start adding the methods now. So first method I will add for waiting for element to be visible. So public void wait for visibility of element. This is my method name. So for this method as argument I will send the web element for which I need to wait. So here I will catch that web element. So I need to use the web element reference here. Web element, let's say element. So here using the wait reference now, wait dot until, in the bracket you can use the different expected conditions now. So we are going to wait for visibility of elements. So I can use visibility. So I can use the multiple also, visibility of all elements. Okay, so as we are sending the web element itself, we need to use this visibility of web element. Okay, so just pass the element reference here. So better to add this statement in the try. If element is not visible within the 60 seconds, it is going to give some exception, that is timeout exception, right? So that exception we will catch here. So we will catch this timeout here, timeout exception. So you need to take it from the Selenium package, not from the java.util. So using this e reference, it will have all the information about that exception. So either we can print it and we are going to add in our logger as well. Okay, later we will add in the logger. So for now we will just print it in the console. So element is not visible after waiting, and here we can print the error message. So e dot, I can use this get message method. Okay, so maybe we don't require this one. So this will properly print in our console, or later we will add in our logger as well. So this is the first method. It will wait for visibility of web element, and that web element will pass from our page classes. So in the same way I can add different methods for different expected conditions. So let me add it for element to be clickable now. So this will be my method name, wait for element to be clickable. So in the same way we will use the wait dot until expected conditions dot element to be clickable, right? So just pass this element reference, that's it. So add it in the try catch. So just in the message we will write element is not clickable. So let me add one method for element to be invisible. So for now these three methods will be sufficient for our demo. If we require, then we can add more methods later. So by creating this CustomWait class, a generic CustomWait class, we are reducing our code a lot in our framework. So instead of writing this expected conditions in each and every page classes, we have created this common CustomWait class. So we will be able to use all these methods from all the pages in our application. Otherwise, if you define these conditions in every page classes, your code will be bulky, right? So always try to increase your code reusability. So now let's see how we can use the condition from the CustomWait in our page classes. So we'll start from the home page. So from the home page we will open the registration and sign in page. So for opening that, first we need to mouse over on this web element first, accounts and list. So for the mouse or actions, we need to use the actions class in the Selenium. Actions action equals to new actions, and we need to pass the driver. So create this actions reference at the class level. So I will take this out. Okay, add it here. And we can use private modifier over here as we are going to use in this class only. So this reference I will be using in the constructor of this home page. So we just need to import it from our selenium.interactions. So first action to open the registration page is to mouse over on this accounts and list web element. Okay, so using the wait reference, first we will wait for web element. Okay, wait for, let's say, visibility. So this is the method we have created in our CustomWait class, right? And for which element you want to wait? This is the web element, right? So wait for this web element first for maximum of 60 seconds. Once it is done, once it is visible, then perform the action. So you will use action dot move to element to perform the mouse over. Okay, mouse over on this dot perform. So we are just performing the one action, so you can directly use the perform over here. And once it is done, we need to click on this start here button, right? So again we will wait for this start here to be visible, and then we will click on this web element, visibility of element, and this time we will wait for this new customer start here web element. Once it is visible, perform the click action dot click. So these are the steps we have added in our open registration page action. Okay, so first we will wait for visibility of account and list. Once it is visible, then perform the mouse over. After performing the mouse over, we will wait for visibility of new customer start here web element. Once it is available, then we will perform our click action on that web element. We can try to improve the readability for this method. So instead of using the wait statement in the method itself, we can create the getter methods to get the element, and whatever actions we are going to perform, those actions only we will add in this method. Okay, so we don't need to write this wait statement in the method itself. So let's see how we can do that. So in the same class, I will use public. So this method is going to return the web element. So I will write web element. So all these will be getter methods. I will use get, account and lists. It's an element. Okay, this is my method name. So in this method I will add this statement. I will remove from here, add it here. So wait for visibility of this element, and once it is visible, return that element now. Return this account and list. So now to get this web element, I just need to call this method. So action dot move to element, I will add here get account and list element. So this method I am going to call. Okay, so from here it will go here, and it will wait for visibility of this element. Similarly, I can add getter method for this new customer start here as well. So from here we can remove this now. We will add it here. Once element is visible, then we will return it. So just call this method now. Get start here element. Oh, let me write element here. Get start here element. And we will require it here, right? So instead of web element directly, we are using the getters method now. So all these are our getter methods for the web elements. So now if you see, the main action that we are going to perform is open registration page. In that we have only two statements, right? So it is increasing your readability. So for the sign in button also we can create the getter method now. So I will copy it. So get, just provide the sign in meaningful name sign in button element. So we need to wait for sign in button web element. So just add it here and return it once it is visible. So to open the sign in page, we will require that element first. So the same action we need to perform. First, action dot move to element. Which element? Again, get account and list element dot perform, and then click on the sign in button. So we will call this method dot click. So in this way we have fully implemented our home page class. So here we have created the web element, then we have created the different actions we want to perform on that home page. So for performing the actions, we have created first the CustomWait class. We have created these getter methods to get the web element first, and once element is visible, then we will perform the different actions. So in the same way we are going to implement our sign in page, our registration page, our business page as well.